Now, Hitler said, if you tell a lie long enough and loud enough and often enough, the people will believe it. He said they're more likely to believe a big lie than a small one. If you want to get somebody to believe a lie, you have to do it like my two big brothers did to me. I have two older brothers. They've always been older than I am. They still are today, I believe. But when I was about 6 years old, I was raised in East Peoria, Illinois. By the way, I know I'm in Tennessee, but are there any more Yankees in the crowd? Any Yankees out there? 5, 6, 7. Okay, and how many Southerners do we have? Ooh, well, just remember who won, if you would. I know it ain't over yet. But I was raised in East Peoria. I couldn't help that. But I did move to Florida as soon as I got smart enough to figure out, the South is going to rise again. But I was about 6 years old. I came running in for breakfast one morning, and I was the first one there for breakfast. So I got the last banana out of the bowl to put on my cereal. Well, a few minutes later, my two big brothers came in. They said, "Hey, Kent, is that the last banana?" I said, "Yep," and I got it. How many of you have an older brother or sister? You know that wonderful feeling you get when you finally pull one over on them? Boy, that morning I had them and I knew it. They wanted my banana. But big brothers do not beg little brothers for anything. They either beat them up and take it away by brute force, or they lie to them and trick them out of it somehow. So my brothers said, "Hey, Kent, do you know how bananas are made?" I said, "No." I was only 6 years old. It's been proven in laboratory tests the brain doesn't even start to grow till kids are 18 to 20. How many parents can verify that one from raising kids? Yep. I said, "No, how are bananas made?" And they said, "Well, down in South America, they have these spiders that live up in the trees, and when they die, all their legs fold up, and mold begins to grow on the dead spider legs. And a banana is really nothing but moldy spider legs." I said, "You guys are lying to me. You just want this banana because you know it's the last one." They said, "No, brother, we're not lying. You cut that thing in half and look in the middle. You can still see the black spots where his legs were." I did not eat bananas for nearly 3 years after that. They lied to me. Have you ever been lied to before? I would not have believed the lie if it hadn't been for those black spots. See, if you want to get somebody to believe a lie, you have to mix it with some truth. That's a technique they've used for years to kill rats. You don't give the rat a bowl of poison. You give the rat a bowl of good food with a little poison mixed in. They're mixing two things together that really do not belong together. See, rat poison is 99.995% good food. That's how you trick them. They've done the same thing for years to sell Marlboro cigarettes. They mix them in with cowboys. You can watch any Marlboro commercial. There's something about a cowboy in there. Have you stopped and thought about that? What is the connection between smoking Marlboro and cowboys? Do all cowboys smoke Marlboro? No. Do you have to smoke Marlboro to be a cowboy? No. If you start smoking Marlboro, do you become a cowboy automatically? No. You may smell like a horse, but you are not a cowboy. Okay? Actually, it's been proven in laboratory tests that nobody in the world smokes. Nobody smokes. Only the cigarette smokes. The person is the sucker. That's all. I think they ought to put the real name on those things. We ought to have some truth in advertising. They should really be calling them cancerettes, breath rotters, bypass, malignant phlegm balls, and money suckers. They do the same thing with beer, though. They try to associate beer with sports. What does beer have to do with sports? They get some big football player holding his can of Bud Dummer. Or Bud Stupid. They call it Bud Wiser. It don't make him any wiser, that's for sure. He's got his Bud Dummer, Miller Low Life, or Dead Dog, whatever it is. He says, "Man, you drink this stuff and you will be a football player." Yeah, right. I like science, folks. I collect science books, and there's a lot of good science in these books, but there's some poison mixed with it. It's kind of like the rat poison. It's not the good food I'm against, it's the poison.